If you ask me what the phrase of the year is going to be for 2026 on YouTube, it's probably going to be, I built a Steam machine at home. Well, I didn't build one, I was sent one. This here is the AOOSTAR GODY or GOAT-E. It is a mini PC, not too big. It looks big on camera always, but it's actually fairly small. Probably smaller than the Steam machine. Why am I calling it a Steam machine? Well, it has a similar GPU and a similar type of design. This is a mini PC that's definitely focused on gaming. The mini PC, the Steam machine is going to come with the AMD 7600 MXT. There's like 99.99% confidence that I have that's what it's going to be. As soon as I saw the specs, that's what it was. It's a mobile-based 7600 GPU. This here is a desktop tier GPU. This is the 7600 XT, not MXT, just XT. Steam machine runs at 100 watts. This runs at up to 150 watts for the GPU alone. So that's very interesting. It's going to make this into a fairly capable gaming GPU in here. This one also does come with a monster CPU, the AMD 7940HX. That is actually quite literally a desktop 7950X CPU, which is one of the best CPUs money can buy for consumer level. Top 4, I suppose, maybe top 5 in terms of like raw compute. There just really is not much out there that's going to be better. This is just a mobile version. They take literally that chip and they just sock it onto a motherboard and lower the watt so it doesn't run as hot. So it's going to run a lower wattage here. Despite that, it runs very well and you get a ton of power out of it. They lower the wattage down to keep this thing from running super hot or noisy. This thing here is going to be great for people who want a dedicated gaming machine because it is a dedicated gaming machine. Powerful CPU. Reasonably good GPU, obviously much better than integrated graphics, so that's fantastic. This thing is going to fly at 1080p, do well at 1440p, and be able to pull off some 4K, especially in older titles. But it's also a Windows machine, so you're going to get all the ports and I/O. You're going to be able to upgrade this thing, add more storage, add Windows to it. You can install Bazzite and that kind of stuff as well. But this thing's really cool. So let's jump in here. I'm going to look at it from the eyes of like a mini PC. But I'm also going to do quite a bit of benchmarking of the GPU, just kind of see what we can get. And I'm going to compare it to the 7600M. Okay, so here is the AOOSTAR website. I've reviewed a couple of their mini PCs, and I actually like them quite a bit. Here is the GODY, or GOAT-D. Anyways, CPU, AMD Ryzen 9 7940HX, which is a monster CPU. It is literally a desktop CPU. It is the 7950X desktop CPU, 16 core, 32 thread. Top 4 most powerful consumer CPUs that money can buy. The GPU here is a AMD 7600 XT, not an MXT, just an XT, which is the desktop part. Allows it to run at a higher watt, 150 watts as a result. It's in the same class and family as the MXT, but this is the desktop part. Nice fast Wi-Fi and a shite load of ports in here. Look at all these ports. Look at all these ports. And I use them and I test them and they all work. And the price is very reasonable. I mean, this doesn't look like it's on any type of deep sale or anything like that. And it's $740. I have seen it cheaper, to be honest. I have seen it cheaper. The RAM is going to increase the price, but with the price of RAM, I mean, look at that. $150. You're getting 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is worth $200 to $300 right now, and the SSD is worth, it's always been worth $100. So this is, I mean, in this case, I would actually buy the RAM and the SSD. Okay, let's get inside. So it should be relatively easy to get into on my messy desk. It's got a very 1999, 2000, 2001 industrial metal kind of look to it. It's cool. Nice little metal frame there. That's the first fan there. That's the component fan, so it's not going to cool down, the NVMe. It's not going to cool down the CPU and GPU. It's just a little component fan. Should be fine. You could always swap this out if need be. That'll just push air basically onto your RAM, onto your NVMe's, your SSDs, all these VRMs and that kind of stuff, which can then be relatively exposed because this will just blow air right onto them, keep them nice and cool. So the first NVMe, right, we have an NVMe slot right there that is populated. We have a second NVMe slot right there. It's a ByWin NVMe. That's good. They're a nice SSD brand. They actually just came out with the new mini SSD, by the way. You should watch my video on that. It's very cool. Upgradable Wi-Fi there, MT, so it looks like a MediaTek. RAM is, never heard of APacer, but whatever. They're just Okay, now this side here, pretty straightforward design. It's cool. It's like all this stuff is exposed, to be honest. That's the fan from the flip side coming in here. Okay, so there's the fans, those come out, and then we have a massive cooling. I might have to take this piece off here if I want to bring the whole cooling solution out in theory. Probably the best idea to not completely disassemble your brand new mini PC. Therefore, that's why I do it. It's very well constructed. There's absolutely no creaking, nothing like that. Just a nice metal design. Very well designed, to be honest. It's a huge piece of metal. That is a massive piece of metal. And it's a giant vapor chamber, so that's why it runs so cool. So you get a big vapor chamber, massive vapor chamber there. Huge copper pipe plate on there as well. Good. That's 2, 4, 6, 8 for the VRAM. That'll be the GPU. That'll be the CPU. Very good. It's looking nice. And nice. This is also very thick radiator. This is a heavy piece of metal there. Okay, so just show you some benchmarks. Just rip some benchmarks. Nothing crazy. We'll just go through them this way. Don't need to make fancy bar charts. Wi-Fi fast 755. That's as fast as my Wi-Fi can go. Really, honestly. You don't get much faster than that. Ports, all of them are basically the same, which is interesting. They're all 5 gigabit ports. Fine. You can't get really, I don't think you can get USB 4 on this chip. I don't think it supports the 7840HX. Never seen it. So 5 gigabit. 5 gigabit. All these are all the A's and the C's. They're all the same, which means that all of them are going to support fast storage. So if you need to, plug in an NVMe type thing or an SSD with your games on it or whatever, it will work on all of them. They're all fine and they're all good. None of them are 10 or 20, but they're all just reasonably fast. So for game loading, all the gaming I've done in this video are on those and it's totally fine. So that's very, very good. And I mean, yeah, nothing staggering, nothing weird, just very respectable specs there. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do is we're going to test the CPU. This CPU is a monster. It's a very, very powerful CPU. You have a 16 core 32 thread CPU. It is based on, it is literally the desktop 7850X. Literally that CPU. They just have it socketed in a mobile version and they lower the watts. That's all they do here. But otherwise it is literally the same chip. So we'll come in here. It should be maxed out. I don't think it's possible for this chip to go above 100 watts. We'll see what they allow it to go here. In like the 7945HX in 7945HX and 7940HX can, in some systems, they'll allow it to have more watts and get up to 100, like a big gaming laptop or something, but that's mainly for CPU compute. You don't need to. This thing's going to be very efficient even at 55. You'll see here. We're going to get very good performance here, even at this watts here. Give it a sec here. I would expect 20 to 25K, no problem. Yeah, 26,000. It's very good. It's very good for only 50 watts. And this is a balancing act. They know that this is a system that, for one, is very emphasized towards gaming. It is a very gaming heavy type system. It's just the way that they're marketing it. So in gaming, it's not really going to make any difference if you're at 50 watts versus 100 watts. Sure, you get, you'd go from 26K in Cinebench up to 32, 33. Or something like that, sure, but that doesn't help you in gaming. And even so, even in the most demanding tasks like video editing type stuff, this is fast. This is fast. This is getting up to like some of the best mobile scores you can get. And even desktop, like this is competing with high level desktop, but they've done this because it also runs quiet. Like this is full load, watch this. Okay, so part of my narrative to prove that this thing is basically a Steam machine but more powerful, this is the same GPU that you're going to find in a Steam machine. It's a 7600M XT. It is a good GPU. Like I'm not pretending it's not. This is the mobile version, whereas the AOOSTAR GODY or GOAT-E has the 7600 XT desktop. They're not the same. They're similar, but they're not the same. So we're running this. Now you're going to say, well, that's an eGPU. It's not going to, well, yeah, true. However, I'm running it over Oculink. Oculink gives you 67 gigabit per second bandwidth, And on a GPU of this class, you might be losing 1%, maybe 2 at most. Yeah, you can see that we're just at 1440p. I just stretch it out because it's an ultra wide, just looks better on camera. And we don't need that stuff in the background, but it doesn't actually make a difference. So that's fine. Now we have reasonable settings, to be honest. I'm on high. We are going to use some scaling. We're going to use XeSS because it looks better. And we'll put it on balanced. We don't need performance. And we should be just fine. It is a capable GPU. And I've said this when I've been talking about the Steam machine. I've been talking about mini PCs and eGPUs and all this kind of stuff. This class of eGPU or DGPU or however you want to put it, yes, you can do 4K in, to be honest, the vast majority of games that exist. But if we're talking modern 2025, 2026 AAA titles or games like Cyberpunk that are just, benchmark titles, they've always been super hard to run. They are much more comfortable at 1440p. 4K, you're going to need a lot of scaling and you're going to lower the settings. Whereas here we're at 1440p. Yes, we do have balanced scaling, but it's not, performance, whatever. And we're on high. We're not on low. We're not on medium. Nothing like that. We have reasonable performance here. An easy 60 in a very demanding area. The CPU on, this machine here will be more powerful than the Steam machine, but not like massively more. In gaming, at least, it won't be massively more. And it's not as powerful as the AOOSTAR, like obviously not even close. But in gaming, again, they'll both be fine. And we'll just come over here. That's a good run through over 60. What are we at here? 76 degrees on that CPU, on the GPU, 115 watts on this GPU. It is a very high wattage offering, just so you know. And it's technically external from the mini PC. So we're not sharing cooling. So it's not like we're going to worry about cooling on the GPU. So we'll turn that down. Again, we're on high. You can play with things. You can put it on ultra if you wanted. We can do that. I hate when it does that. So we'll go ultra. Put that scaling on again. Just put it back to balance. We'll probably lose... I don't know. What do we lose here? 3 FPS? It's the same idea, right? Ultra versus high, it's going to be fine, right? Resolution does make a big difference here, though. So we'll come in here. We'll go video. Now we'll go up to ultra wide. Now we're getting into much more pixels. Many more pixels. So now we're at ultra wide. We did add a lot of pixels here, so it's much harder to run. Everything else is the same. We should see a drop here, right? Big drop there. Now, this is actually well below 4K, of course, too, right? It's not 4K. 4K will be more than this, but you can still play with stuff like this. Now we're at 1440p ultra wide. Okay, here we are on the AOOSTAR GODY. 1440p. We're going to go with the full screen thing again. It's fine. It's going to make a huge difference. XeSS balance. Let's just double check these just to be safe, but we'll go high. XeSS on balanced. Okay, so exactly the same. And we'll just take a step back here. Yep. Okay, so now this guy has shut up. So, it is a pretty big jump, actually. Wow, okay. We were at about 56, just standing up here. 41 and 35. Let's do a walkthrough. It should drop down. We will see. So on the 7600M XT, through this walkthrough, we were getting around 67 or so for the average. We were getting 4439. So it is higher. Again, once again, we're getting... it's a pretty big jump depending on where you're looking, right? Like those scenes there is more demanding. Over here, it is up a fair bit. The lows are really where I'm seeing like a bit more, but... Stopping here, near the end of this little walkthrough, we can see that there is a average of 69 versus 66, lows of 49 versus 45, and 0.1% lows of 46 versus 40. This is fairly consistent. I went on to just continue testing, and this is about what I've seen overall. You're looking at about 5-6% higher average on the 7600 XT, which makes sense. They are the same, in a way, same GPU, but higher wattage, and it does push higher frames, and it really does actually help the 1% lows and the 0.1% lows as well. Now, just note, I have tested the 7600 MXT also in another mini PC that wasn't over Oculink. So We're chalking up here to just having generally better lows, probably due to that slightly higher wattage on the AOOSTAR here and the desktop variant, just being able to push a little bit further here. Now it's not going to be 50% faster. That's not how this works. It's still in the same class of GPU. But we see here XeSS balance, same thing. Oops. Custom medium high mix, same idea. Let's go through a little run here. So it is a fair bit higher. We'll have to do, like margin of error run through a few times. I've already done the other one quite a bit off camera as well to just kind of get standard, just to make sure it wasn't like a one-time run through situation. The lows are quite a bit higher. That's interesting. We'll see if that stays. So on the, let me just double check these numbers. Yeah, on the eGPU, we were getting an average of about 82, just depends where we were, but around 82, 81, 82, depending. The lows for the 1% though were 45, and the 0.1% lows were 31. So the average is a little bit higher here. I would call it like very similar, which makes sense. I mean, same class of GPU. They're very similar, right? The desktop versus the mobile, they're kind of the same idea. We have more watts here, and it's a desktop variant kind of thing going on here. And we just have better lows. That's interesting. So that's good. I mean, that's a good thing. That's what you want to see. It's going to mean that essentially when you're playing a game, like a split between 82 average and then lows of 45 wasn't bad by any means, and 31 for the 0.1% lows. But when you're getting better lows, when you're getting bad lows, in a case like let's say you actually were getting bad lows, you would potentially start to notice it more. Lower average, that kind of stuff, you can tell, but it's not the biggest difference. But what I do notice is when you have a big split on lows. So this game, for example, on let's say like a 4060, it's a similar class of GPU, like a desktop 4060. It's not quite as fast, but same idea. The interesting thing about that is then, because of the bandwidth and some of the driver issues, you actually get really bad lows on the 4060 in this specific title, and it is very noticeable. Like it actually becomes marginally unplayable. We're just getting better performance here overall, but especially the lows, like I said. So let's now come in here and we're going to go with that other setting. So we're going to change this. So we're going to go up to high now. We'll put the effects, the materials up to ultra and the textures up to ultra. So same idea. Higher watts, like, and we do have an extra 25, 30 watts on this. But let's do a run through and see if those lows stay up. I'm not sure if they will, but we'll see. The average is staying up around the same as well, a little bit better. So I mean, this is going to really push this machine. You can really see, you could do some 4K, but you're going to need lots of scaling and that kind of stuff on these modern titles. Older games, games that are a few years old, you'll have no problem ripping up 4K, like high ultra settings type thing. When you're at 1440p though, in modern demanding AAA titles like these, I consider these like benchmark titles, games that are so hard to run that you're testing hardware to see how good the hardware is. That's how hard they are to run. You're going to be very, very comfortable at 1440p or even 1440p ultra wide. At 1080p, this is where these GPUs are going to absolutely fly, just native. Like you won't need any scaling. You're just doing 1080p native and it'll just rip. 1440p, 1440p ultra wide, I mean, it will do very well, but you just need a little bit of scaling. So yeah, here in this title, we're looking at about 1 or 2 higher average, which is to be expected. It's going to be run-to-run variance type stuff, but it is 1 to 2 higher. The other interesting thing here, though, is that the average, the lows are much higher. So 28 or so versus 45. That's pretty considerable, actually. So what does that give us? That gives us a 17 higher. It's quite a bit higher, actually. It's quite a bit higher. Lows are up by 12, 13 or so. Yeah, I mean, we're getting much better lows. So it's very good. So yeah, again, you could put this beside your 4K TV, rip some 4K games, just be reasonable with your settings. You have to lower it. Here's 1440p ultra wide, so we're one step up. The next step up from this would be 4K. And so, you're going to have to either decrease the settings down to where they were before, or, do a little bit more scaling or whatever. But overall, it's running quite well. I'm pretty happy with this. Okay, let's try some Doom, the Dark Ages. So this is normal 1440p here, with some scaling, and we're on high presets. You could turn it down if you need, but Yeah, so I mean, a lot of the time, honestly, a lot of the time you're going to be looking at 1440p style gaming, depending on the settings, mix kind of stuff. But you're going to be shooting for, 1440p 60 10 FPS here in a lot of games. 1080p is where this thing's really going to start to take off. We'll test it, but that's where it's really going to start to take off. Because that's the class of GPU, right? This is not a 7800 MXT. It's not a 5080, something like that. It's just not that class. But a lot of the time you're going to be shooting for around, like, even during these explosions, it's still fine. Let's come in here. Get a little bit of chaos. I should have picked up my controller because I'm not good at playing this on mouse and keyboard. It is more of a 1080p class GPU, to be honest. 1920 by 1080. It is more of a 1080. Oh, that's a big jump. It is more of a 1080p class GPU. So just consider 1080p. You're going to be just laughing, like just absolutely laughing. We can turn off some of that scaling too. 1440p, you're going to be doing well. You're just going to use a little bit of scaling. And then, of course, if you're getting into 4K, you can do it as well, but you're going to need like a fair bit of scaling. So we turn this way down, to be honest. 1080p, I mean, honestly, that'll be fine. 60 FPS, 1080p, high. Yeah, it's gonna do very well, obviously. Yeah, not bad. Let's do one more title. This is a pretty fast-paced one. We'll try one more, and we'll, probably wrap it up. I don't think we need to test a million things. We know what these GPUs can do. Okay, here's another fun one. Borderlands 4. This game is actually legitimately hard to run, especially in this area. So 1440p ultra-wide is going to be pretty rough. It's doable. Let's see if it's doable. Again, now I haven't tested anything with frame gen because I don't use frame gen, but for me, once I get to 45 to 50, I prefer 50 FPS, I am totally fine using frame gen. I don't like to use it before that because it feels weird. Like, I don't want 30. It just doesn't work for me. But here we'll be fine. What are we at here? So we're at medium and balanced FSR. I don't know what that even means. So just like that. Could turn some of this down, to be honest, but we'll see what we can get here with this kind of just preset. I don't think we're gonna get 60, but maybe. Yeah, 48 or 50. Again, this is 1440p ultra wide, not just 1440p. So we're getting close to 4K. That's what can be a little confusing here. This is very high resolution. Look at that GPU just ripping 150, 160 watts. Great. Yeah, it's actually running really well. You could at this point we're so close. We're basically at 50. I would be okay with frame gen. Again, this is not a competitive FPS shooter. I don't normally use that frame gen, and you know why my videos, I'm not a frame gen kind of guy. But once you get to about 50, you will be much less likely to notice it. Maybe if you're a professional esports gamer, you would, but I mean, this has taken us now up to 72, 73, 74, and I don't notice any input latency or any like weird woo kind of stuff because our frame rate was so high. Base frame rate was so high. It was at 50. And it just feels smoother now, right? So I was a little worried about 1440p ultra wide in this title, but we're doing well to just throw on that little bit of frame gen, getting us up to 75. And if you watch my channel, I'm not the frame gen guy. I don't normally like it, but as long as I can get my base up, like I'm not going on the Steam Deck and rocking 24 FPS and then being like, yeah, let's frame gen it up to 40 and that's playable, and you're just like, you feel so nauseous. Here our base was 40 or 45 even 50 before we threw on frame gen, so it almost was like we were getting like 60-ish kind of experience where it's going to feel already pretty good. I am curious though. Let's just I would play at 1440p ultra wide, to be honest. It's just how I would play, but we can try just normal 1440p. Is it going to let us? I don't know if it'll let us because of the windowed. This is going to look weird, but whatever. Maybe we can try. Actually, let's try some 1080p. It's going to look weird, but because it's going to be like shrunk down. But let's try it. I just want to see how it looks. I just want to see how it performs. Probably going to get like a massive frame rate bump here. This is just 1080p. There's some crap in the background, but whatever. Yeah, with frame gen, especially like 120 FPS. Now here's the other thing. I mean, when you're at 1080p, before you've even touched frame gen, I mean, we can turn it off for a sec. You should be well above 60 in theory. We should be above 60 before frame gen. So I'm not like messing with. Yeah, we're at 60 basically with frame gen. Without frame gen, sorry. So this is just 60. A 60 FPS gameplay. So you could just play like this and it's going to be like, people shoot for 60. They're like, yeah, I'm getting 60 at like these, like in this demanding game at this high resolution and runs well. Like that's goals, right? People who are like, yeah, I'm getting 150, 60. It's like, yeah, okay, because you have a 5090. Like it's a different type of gamer. But then you throw in some frame gen, and because we were already at such a high frame rate, like a clean 60, we're now at, 120. It feels great. Like it actually feels really nice. So again, this is a GPU that's very comfortable at 1080p. Like that's what it's really designed for. It's kind of a monster at 1080p, to be honest. Especially with such a powerful CPU. Like the CPU is not struggling here. Like this is a pretty overpowered CPU. So it's not like we're going to be CPU bottlenecked here, where you're going to be like, man, the GPU is trying to give us that, but the CPU can't keep up. No, the CPU is a beast. Where'd the other one go? Ah! Did he path? Sorry. I haven't actually played this game. It's really fun. I didn't like the previous Borderlands. I don't know. Maybe it's like the deserty world. I think it just kind of got played out after a while. I was like, whatever. I totally forgot what we were talking about. Oh, yeah, we were playing 1080p. So let's come in here. We don't even have that much scaling, to be honest. So let's come in here. We'll go back up to, we'll go full screen again, 1440p. I just want to test one more thing. I don't want to test a million games. Maybe. I'm probably going to make other videos about this thing. But we can go medium, whatever. You can also turn up scaling, right? We didn't have scaling on that much. And let's just go for a native, a non-frame gen, but with more scaling. So... yeah, the frame gen really, it does help. It doesn't feel weird in this game. It's so strange. Like frame gen there with performance scale. We don't even need it. Yeah, it just gives you 60. It's just 1440p. 65, 70. Yeah, it's not bad. Like, because we're at 70, so you're probably at about a 50 before it. It's just the way that it is. It's not bad. Not bad. So there's going to be, countless games. Like this is a brand new, well, it's a remake, but brand new 2025 game. I wonder if this thing has a max frame rate. I think it just maxes at 60. It just will not let you go above that. It is what it is. But anyways, so 1440p, right? Like these type games, they're just going to be maxing them. It doesn't matter like 4K, it doesn't matter what type of resolution you put them at. You're going to be maxing these games out. And these are some of the best games ever made. So, I mean, yeah. The nice thing about this machine here is I would consider it to be kind of a monster when it comes to like, okay, I need to clear my backlog. Like any game that is honestly like 2022, 2023 or before, even the most demanding titles, you're going to be playing at 1440p 4K, like maxing them out. It's going to just be a monster. Emulation, it's going to be a behemoth because I mean it has such a powerful CPU. A lot of emulation is based on CPU. This thing's going to just rip. But then some emulation, more demanding emulation, PS3, that kind of stuff, does also use the GPU, so that's going to help a ton. Then you also have modern AAA games, like I've shown Borderlands, all that kind of stuff, and they all run very well, right? Like they run very, very well. You're just not maxing everything out, right? But anything that's a little bit older, you're maxing them. Anything that's like this here, right? That's not going to be potentially the most demanding titles. Again, you're maxing it, right? Like you're just putting everything up to as high as it can possibly go. Like the GPU, what is the GPU pulling here? 17, 18 watts. CPU is doing some stuff, but again, the CPU also just idles at a higher wattage. It's not actually doing much, right? So there's going to be lots of games like this that if you don't want this thing, you just throw it under your TV, throw it beside your thing, and you're going to be able to just tear through games, and it's silent. Like it's not doing anything. It's not trying in this game right here, right? Like it's not an overly demanding title for this thing to run, right? So yeah, and this is one of the best games ever made. So this thing is going to be very good for various types of gaming. That is the video. So negatives, there actually are not any of them. Like in context of what it is. Of course, if you get a full-fledged gaming desktop, like a large one, you're getting more expandability, modularity, that kind of stuff. You can swap out the GPU. It's a totally different thing. This one here, for what you're getting, I mean, I would love to see a 12 gigabyte GPU in here, like the 7800 MXT, but I don't think they exist. Like, there's so few of them. There's like, these guys can't buy them. AMD just didn't really supply them. So this is really one of the better, like, kind of onboard solutions you're going to be able to get right now until something else comes out on the market. And it does very well. I mean, honestly, for 1080p, it flies. 1440p, even in modern AAA titles, it's going to do very well with some scaling in that. 4K is doable in modern AAA titles, but you're going to need a fair bit of scaling in that. Just do that, lower your settings, whatever. Anything that's a few years old, 4K is just going to crush it. It's going to be no problems whatsoever. It runs reasonably quiet, honestly, for what it is, especially considering it's a 150 watt GPU with the CPU around 30 to 50 watts, depending on what's going on. So you're looking at around 200 watts. It's quite a bit of power in this thing here. It runs reasonably cool. When you're doing CPU tasks, it's almost silent. And when you're using it in Windows, it is silent. You can't really hear it. There are fans on, but you can't they're like the same as my noise floor. Ports are good, and you're not getting any USB 4 or anything like that to run a DGPU, external GPU, but it has a GPU, so it's not a big deal. Upgradability is good. Wi-Fi is good. The build quality is nice. This is not plastic. This is all metal, like a little, I don't know, it looks like a little armored core type thing. It's pretty sick. Yeah, and I mean, it's reasonably priced for what it is. Honestly, it is reasonably priced. You could get into, you know, an AMD 395, like a Max 395 type thing, and get essentially the same performance, and you're going to pay twice or 3 times as much. Yeah, you get more VRAM, but other than that, you're paying 2 to 3 times as much for essentially the same raw performance. So that's the GODY. It is GOATed, not GODID. It's very good. I like it a lot. If you're interested in something like this, pick it up. It's very, very, very cool.